Buying a house for some people in the United States is a lifelong dream, one that only comes to fruition through hard work and determination. Sometimes our hearts get captured by an old home in desperate need of restoration. We see a vision of what it used to be, and we long to bring it back to its glory days. We are nostalgic for a home that was never ours, during a time we've never known. There is something magical about bringing the past back to life after it's been long forgotten. But what if, in the middle of realizing your dream, you come across something unexpected in the construction? A doorway plastered over, hovering halfway up a wall as if trying to be hidden. Have you ever heard of a disappointment room? This week, we talk about a sad part of our American history that needs to be remembered, and I share my own discovery and how it led to this episode. Welcome to Who Are You? Curious Stories of Family Lore. I'm Wietze,
And I'm Sam Ivy.
and yeah, this week we're talking about something that has kind of just been out in the open since we moved in, but it wasn't until I was moving things up in the attic recently that I really stopped to look at it and was like, wait a second, what the fuck is this? So, yeah, happy. It's probably Monday where you are, everybody in the future. It's not Monday right now, though.
Let's get into this fucking shit though. You said disappointment room, and that just made me think of like, I don't know, where you get banished as a child.
Exactly. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, pretty much. Um, and before we get into this, I just have to say this because my thoughts have been thinking about the victims in the files, in the paperwork, and this topic is kind of like trigger warning type deal. We're talking about
Okay,
disappointment rooms, which have to do with children, and I just feel like I try to not obviously I don't want to um be too political or anything, but I don't think that protecting children is a political matter. So I just want to just say that all children deserve love and all children are amazing and should be treated as such.
agreed. I mean, you think about it, you're a kid, you only have your innocence once in your life, and look at how yourself has been clayed and molded into who you are as a person due to your past trauma as a child. Like certain ages when you're affected by things really develop you as a person. So who
Yeah,
knows the type of like events like that are happening that are developing the type of people for the future.
yeah. Your formative years, your sense of self, and the way that you perceive other people, that is formed, pretty much like before year two is really important, but your whole childhood is important, but there are certain milestones, and, if you're banished somewhere as a kid, which we're going to talk about, and you're never, I guess, like, sorry, this is a rough topic. Um,
Well, you're good.
Not really, this isn't a rough topic, but
Well, you're also a mom too, so
yeah,
I'm sure it
that's,
hit you on a deeper level.
yeah. Um, I think that there needs to be more focus on taking care of the children who are alive in our country today, children who are in foster care, or women who are pregnant and don't have the means to support those. babies, like we should be focusing on funneling our resources into those things so that parents don't
Yeah.
feel pressured on having these kids that they don't want and then abusing them or banishing them or abusing them or selling them in a secret
Or having them,
PDF ring, like
or like literally like growing up with that resentment towards them and teaching them like that is their what love is. Like that's fucked.
yeah. Um teaching them to treat other people like that, and then society becomes poison because more and more people are perceiving that as normal when it's not normal to be
Yeah.
discarded. So, um so back to now that that's out of the way, I think it's just because the sensitive climate that we live in, that's probably what started this, honestly, because I have, like I kind of said, this like doorway, honestly,
Yeah.
has been there the whole time. It's not hidden. We didn't just start construction and tearing down the walls or anything and finding anything. It's just kind of an indent in the wall. Did I show you the picture?
Mm-mm.
I didn't?
No.
What? Wait, so did I tell you anything about this?
No. You just said you had a story you wanted to share with me.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, pants. So I was walking up and down. I'm so glad. I thought that I like told you a little bit about this, but I'm glad I didn't. So I was bringing things
No,
up.
you wanted to, and then you were like waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was walking, I'll send you this picture. I was walking up the stairs, up and down into the attic, moving things into the front part of it, just to organize. And the sun was setting and it was coming through the window that's there. And I was like,
Yeah.
this kind of looks like a doorway, but it's like high up. So you would need to like put a ladder up and climb up to get into this doorway if it were there,
Yeah.
or if it was open. I don't, where is it? Where's the picture? I guess I could literally just take you up there and show you since you're mobile. I posted, did you see it on our TikTok? I posted it on TikTok. On our TikTok
I
at,
might, because I like the way you're describing it, I do like remember seeing something of it, but I just don't remember like you never said it directly to me.
yeah,
So I probably did catch it on our TikTok.
here's this picture. Yeah, because I posted it, I was like, oh crap, she's gonna see that. But here's this picture. So check that out. And this is
Okay.
do you see how it's like clearly a doorway?
Yeah, like it, yeah.
So like, what are you doing? That is on the stairs up to our attic. So,
Okay. And
um,
your house is old anyway. Like it's old, old.
yep. So little history. This is a craftsman style house built in 1900, and it was built by, there were only a few contractors in this area at the time. And so this was like everything was sourced locally. Everything, craftsman style homes, there's like natural finishes on wood, lots of wood details, stained glass, like
Yeah.
just really pretty,
It's true to the name.
yeah, craftsman. It was crafted with a lot of care. Oh, I thought my cats were breaking in. Sorry. Um, so in old houses, in Victorian era houses more so, it was common to find rooms, whether in the basement or in attic spaces, that seemed to be like random. And
Yeah.
typically, like, there's not been a lot of evidence that I could honestly find about, like, oh, hold on, cat's breaking in.
No, you're good. I got a fucking eyelash in my eye like a motherfucker.
So, what's really cool about it so far is we haven't done a ton of renovation, but the renovations that we've done have revealed some super cool things. So, for example, it was built in the 1900s, and plumbing wasn't readily available to the general public in houses, like as a standard, really, I think until more of the 1920s. And so
Oh, okay.
yeah, so up until that point, bathrooms were not built into houses. So that's why this is important. So our bathroom, we have like a winding staircase, you walk up and then there's
Yeah.
a little platform. So up a platform to the right, another set of stairs to a platform, that platform to the right again. So it's like think of MC Escher's stairs with the platforms,
Yeah.
endless stairs up. Um Once you get to the top and you turn left, you keep going into the bathroom. If you Before you get to the bathroom is a door right next to the stairs that continues up to the attic. So then it's like a winding staircase where the platforms continue.
Yeah.
The door in question that is hovering is when you open the attic door and you go up 7 steps, it is up there. I measured it against my height. I am 5'2". The base of that door is 5'4" from the ground.
Oh wow.
Yeah. When I walk around into the bathroom, where the closet was built, there's like a little tiny closet. That door that has been sealed over would start right where that
Yeah.
closet ends. So the room is like right on the
Okay.
other side. The base of it is behind our bathroom closet. And so the bathroom stops, but there is still 10 to 20 feet. When you walk outside and you look at the bathroom door and you look around the wall, there's a whole section of our
Yeah.
house that just is there. That's not the bathroom and it's not the staircase. It's just there. And now
So
there's
what
this,
is this space?
yeah. So it's not a super big space, but it's in the attic, closed over. So just something to note that it could have been bigger at one point, but it may have been sealed over when they were adding in the bathroom in the 20s and during our renovation in the bathroom, which is still going on because we're doing it ourselves and we have absolutely no I'm not history's not the word, experience in house repairs. So it's not chaotic, but
It's a
just
DIY.
for sure. Do it eventually. It's a DYE. Do it eventually. We're doing it. But we ripped up the floor, and by we I mean he, Brad. I did not. I may have, but he mostly did it because it was like laminate. And I love that the people
Yeah.
did this. The people that lived here before us, instead of ripping out the original tile, they did this. So they're like, it's a future person if they want to restore it, gave us the option, which I'm so grateful for because
Yeah.
it's original pinwheel tile from the 1920s, and then the walls that were painted.
That's fucking
We
crazy.
Isn't it? It's so pretty, and then the walls are like subway tile halfway up, and they were like hand pinstriped, like hand painted. We had to
Oh.
get rid of that because it was lead based. So we did have somebody, a tile company, come in and like clean that up and reseal the wall tiles, but the floor tiles is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But so if you think house is built in 1900, this little secret room is built for whoever was living here, which I'm
Mhm.
trying to figure out how to track down this house history to see if I can get more information. So there might be a follow-up to this in the future. So this will be a kind of a shorter episode,
Okay.
but then if I find anything more, we can maybe do another one. So then I can
There'll
post
be
them
an
together.
unexpected part two.
Yeah, so I'll keep digging because I'm constantly digging into things. So because I can't help it. I'm always curious. But it makes sense for 1920, 20 years or so, and late 20s, maybe, who knows exactly what year the bathroom was redone. They see that room, they seal over the door, and then they build the closet to kind of block off the back,
Yeah.
you know? So interesting, nothing for sure. Curious to see what you guys think. I'm gonna post the TikTok post has been there for a little while, but I don't think I posted it on Instagram. TikTok's been weird since the new ownership takeover. We went from having like
Mm.
sometimes 500 to 600 views, sometimes less, sometimes 100, but never 3. Never 5, never 9. Like for the last
So
week.
that I've learned it. So that I learned because like my flow videos when I post them on my personal page get like that. It depends on the time that you're posting it. So like the time of day, the time of night. Like I notice if I post one video at 9 o'clock at night, it could all of a sudden have 100 views in 10 minutes. But if I post at 9 o'clock in the morning, it's only getting like 10 after 3 hours. And it
Hmm.
all depends on the hashtags you use too. That's the two things I do know about like with TikTok from what I've learned. And all you gotta do is delete the video and repost it. And 9/10 of the time, if I do that, I get more views on it the next go round.
Okay. Uh, yeah, just hopefully that will fix it. But it just seemed like a
Yeah,
huge
it's
decrease.
a dumb algorithm thing. That's all.
I hate
It's
it.
just trying to time it right with the fucking algorithm.
Well, you
Yeah,
know that it was taken over
Chris had to
by,
teach me that.
well, you know it was literally, but I'm telling you, Meta bought TikTok, and they took the day that they took over, the very next thing I posted and the next 5 posts after that went from having hundreds of views to having 5, 9, 2, 1 before.
Okay, that's a little bit of a
Yeah, it
coincidence.
was a very obvious because I do post in the morning because that's when I can,
Yeah.
but I'll try to post at night. Like, I will still take this advice because anything helps. But there
I
was
mean, just
definitely,
test it out and see,
yeah,
because it could just be the new ownership too. It's just that's what I've
yeah.
learned, and I didn't realize that they really sold out like that.
Yeah, they did. Yep. I don't know all the details, but I was like, I saw that after I was noticing the post, and I was like, oh my God, is that why? But it could also be when I'm posting, and maybe I
Yeah.
need to be better at my hashtags for sure. I'm new to TikTok. That's why I literally
Uh,
have never used
they also
TikTok
only limit you
until,
to 5 hashtags per post.
yeah, exactly. So you have to choose them wisely. But anyways, so when I was trying to search, like I posted that video on TikTok and somebody commented, shout out to this person. I'm not going to share their name or anything because I don't know if they want me to, but you can find it if you go to TikTok. But they were like, "Is that a shame room?" And I was like, "What's a shame room?" And so I Googled it and I found like nothing. There's nothing. So I was like, "Huh." So then I was like, let me look for rooms where people would hide. Because I was like, what's a shame room? And they were like, it's a room where people with children who had disabilities or they were
Uh-huh.
ashamed of or like love children, like
Yep.
results of affairs. There were these rooms that were built to hide them, to shield them from society and keep them secret. So obviously, we're not going to be able to Google that if people were keeping them a secret. And only now they're just being found. So, I was like, okay, let me Google that though. Let me Google rooms where,
Yeah.
children who were or I forget exactly what I said, but I Googled it and you phrased it like rooms where children were hid in old houses. And
Yeah.
disappointment rooms came up. And apparently, there was a movie in 2016 called The Disappointment Room based off of a true story, quote unquote. Have you heard of that
Really?
movie? Yeah. Have you heard of that
I
movie?
don't think so. I don't think so. Who do you know who's in the movie?
Yeah, I pull it up here. So in 2016, The Disappointment Room,
Sorry.
starring, you're good. The Disappointments Room, 2016 horror drama starring Kate Beckinsale as Dana. Lucas
Okay.
Till, I forgot that guy existed. Lucas Till, oh my gosh. When the Hannah Montana movie came out and Lucas Till played that cowboy in there,
Oh my
oh my
God.
God. Oh my God. I was like, who is
Yep.
Lucas Till? Totally forgot that guy existed. He played Ben in this movie. Um, so the Disappointments Room, and this is from Google. This is from the IMDb. Hold on, is it? I don't know where it's from. It's from Google. It's a horror film about a family that moves into a new home and discovers a hidden room with a dark, haunted past, leading to supernatural events that test a mother's sanity. So, directed by
Typical.
Dun dun dun. Directed by DJ Caruso and starring Kate Beckinsale. So, it was inspired by an HGTV episode. Do you remember HGTV?
Yes, dude. I fucking oh
There was like a
God, I do.
home and garden television. Oh my God. So,
Yeah, like my great grandma used to watch that shit.
I watched it with my mom, my grandma. It was on everywhere. It was always on. Like, it was always
Yeah.
on. Trading Spaces, that was my shit. I wanted to be on
Yep.
Trading
Yep.
Spaces so bad. I was like, call me. Uh, but the show, I think it was just called Homes, and it was basically
Yeah.
just just a show about different historic homes. But this is the couple that inspired the movie, Jeff and Lori Dumas.
Ooh.
That's a name.
Oh,
Dumas. And but this is cool though. They lived on Carpenter Street. I was like,
oh
whoa,
Lord. Of course they would.
weird.
The Dumasses would.
No, no, we don't want to get sued, pants. Jeff and Lori, I don't know how to pronounce
Okay,
it.
well, I'm sorry. We could cut that out. I don't know
Nah,
either, but all I heard when you said I was dumbass and it made me laugh really hard.
I'm not gonna cut it out. It's
So
fine.
now I just heard dumbasses live on Carpenter Street. I'm like, all right, yeah.
But it gets weirder. It gets weirder though. Ready? Listen to this
All right.
sentence. This was just like Jeff and Lori Dumas Dumas live on Carpenter Street in West Warwick. Wick. It's just funny. Weird coincidences,
What the fuck?
right? Um,
That's wild.
the house that had this hidden room in it. So basically, they were starting. The story is that inspired this movie. Jeff and Lori on living in this old judge. They bought this old house. Sorry. Let me start that sentence over because I absolutely just butchered that entire thought because I was also thinking about the next thing I was gonna say, and then my brain was like, wait, too many things. And then I said, yeah, anyways. So rewind. Lori they both started to do the house renovations. My God, what is wrong with me? Jeff and Lori began to do renovations on their home. Are you okay? Where are you? There you are.
I am. I don't know what happened. I was switching headphones and it went did something funky.
Jeff and Lori started to do renovations on the house that they bought, and they had just purchased this old, like, basically mansion, I think. Like, not mansion. It's depicted as a mansion type home in the movie, but it's actually just like a two-story, like, pretty nice
Yeah.
house that was older and they wanted to restore it. And it had been built by a judge named John Carpenter.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, weird, you know? Um, So when they were redoing this house, they found up in the like upstairs room there was metal sheeting on the floor and no knob inside, like on the inside of the door.
Yeah.
So like metal sheeting just lining the floor, and then if you're in that room and the door shuts, you're like stuck in there. So you can't get out. Um so they're like, that's kind of weird. Wonder why that's there. And I think what ended up happening is Lori worked at a library, so she was able to do research on the house to figure out like what would this be. So I need to go to the library and do some research. I need to take some notes from Lori so I can figure out more info. And she was basically able to track down who lived there, why the house was built, and then history about the family. And what she found was essentially that John Carpenter had a sick child, Ruth,
Okay.
and I don't know exactly what they mean by sick, but she only lived to be 5, and she died in 1900, and nobody ever knew about her when she was alive,
Yeah.
but it's proven that she existed because I think there's a cemetery. Um, oh yeah, okay, so what it was this was a prominent family. This was a
Hmm.
judge in the community,
Yeah,
and he was often featured in the newspaper, and his whole family was, so always mention of his wife and his kids.
yeah. So they had a certain reputation. They had a certain fucking, status they had to live up to.
Yeah. But Ruth was never mentioned. And so that led Lori to believe that he had this 5-year-old daughter who was never mentioned while she was alive. And then
Hmm.
when she died, there was no mention of her funeral, no mention of services or anything, just buried with like a plot number 66, I think is the plot number. And
Jesus.
so that led her to believe that maybe this little girl was kept in that room, like trapped in there for whatever reason. And so she learned about the term disappointment room. So something maybe was wrong with Ruth, like maybe she was sickly, maybe she was disabled, or
Yep.
for whatever reason, the family was ashamed of her and kept her in
She
that
could have been
room,
disfigured. She could have been a lot of things
which,
depending on what their standards were, like the family standards.
yeah. So, yeah. So I was like, oh man, maybe this is a real thing. This also reminded me of my childhood home on MacArthur Parkway. When you went up into the attic, there was a bedroom up there in the back, but our attic wasn't a finished attic.
Yeah.
And the when you walked up the stairs, in front of you was like another room, but the door there was no door on it because they had taken it off. But what was weird about it is when you stepped down, it was a super steep, like it was sunken down in,
Huh.
and it went really, really far back, like a crawl space. But it always just kind of freaked me out. It always felt like scary. And there were toys up in the attic when we moved in. Like there was like I remember there was like I don't remember moving in, but I remember the stuff that was there was still there when we left because we never put anything in that back room. Like we
Really?
never moved it. So when we moved, yeah, my entire life for the first 15 years of my life, when you poked your head into that back room, because it was a steep step down, and my parents always said if you go in that room, the floor will cave in.
Uh
Like, what? And when you looked in there, there was like a ball, like a red ball with like a star on it or something
huh.
that was like half deflated and super dusty. And then there was I feel like part of some sort of rocking chair or rocking horse and like a bowling pin, like a wooden bowling pin. Just always back there. We just never went back there. They may have put more stuff in there, but that
Yeah.
stuff was always in the back. And so when I was reading this story, I was like, I know it's not really the same thing, but it just reminded me of that. And that house was built in the 1800s, so
Okay.
it's no longer standing. But yeah, so stay tuned for more on that. I still have to do more research, but that's really it. That was my little mini. I think this is probably a mini, so that was my story.
Well, no, honestly, it makes me relate to the fact that, because we're talking about disappointment rooms and the reason that like kids with disabilities or, stuff back in the day, how they would get treated. Um, my grandmother Shirley actually had a uncle back in the day that was mentally disabled in some way, and you're talking about disappointment rooms, and you were talking about how that's where they put their disabled kids or kids that they like didn't have the patience or knowledge to really deal with or want to deal with. So that made me think back to my grandmother Shirley and how she had told me about her this uncle she had that she knew growing up that was mentally disabled. I'm not sure exactly what you know illness or disorder they had, but he was bad enough to the point where his parents could not and did not want to take care of him. So it was back in the time frame, and I'm not sure the year or the era, but basically where people like that got sent to mental asylums, like the like all the horror stories you hear of like people
Yeah.
being naked, getting beat, this, that, and the other, very like mistreated, and all those stories are true because they would let if you
Oh
had
yeah.
family that would claim you, you're allowed to leave the mental asylum for like Christmas and stuff. So like he would be able to come home once a year for
Yeah.
Christmas. And I guess the last year that he came home for this, he like physically express the fact that he did not want to go back. So like the night before he had to return, he actually took a shotgun and fucking shot himself.
Oh
Like,
my God.
yeah, I know it's not necessarily relevant to what we were talking about, but that's what like the story that it made me think of, the fact that like shunning and shaming and like taking your
Hmm.
disappointment or your imperfections and literally just putting it in a box and setting that box away to not think about it. Like that's what they did to this poor guy in my
Yeah.
family, and they'd let you come out once a year for Christmas. Like, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's all
It's
the story
like
was. I don't know
it's
his
not
name or
necessarily
anything. I
a
can't remember.
yeah. It's not necessarily a disappointment room, but it's a disappointment place. Like you send them back then. Like, is it better now? Yes. Does it still have problems? Yes. But back then, their abuse and stuff was terrible.
Both are forms of shunning.
Because was your grandma like a kid or something?
Yeah, like it was her uncle. So I think she was probably like in middle school. I think she was like in middle school when like he killed himself. But I'm not
Oh,
100% on those
so
details because she never really gave those details per se. She just used to say that, we got on the subject of suicide and things like that. And she's like, yeah, actually, what it was is we had this wooden stool that she always had because she had a king size bed and it was always too high for her little short 5 foot, like two butt. So she couldn't get into it half the time. So she had this wooden stool that was this old, like simple, just wood, dark wood stool that would creak every time you stepped on it. And I remember that's what started the conversation. Is I asked her about it because it was old and it had like some signature in the bottom of it. And I was like, "Where did you get this from?" And she goes, "Oh, it was my uncle's that actually committed suicide, and that's what child that whole story."
oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't have that stool now, but I wish I did.
Yeah. Let's think. So your grandma was how old when she passed away?
She was born in 1950, and she died
Okay.
4 years ago.
Yeah. So she was born in 1950. When she was in middle school, it was the 60s. Oh yeah, things were probably terrible still. I would imagine. I don't think I don't really know the
Well,
timeline of like when the things got better in mental institutions, but I think the 60s they probably still weren't that great.
and they didn't get better until they fucking closed them and then like revamped them for like actual medical needs and not just a place for shunning and a place
Yeah.
for discarding of your responsibilities that you don't want to deal with, even though you're the one
Yeah.
that created them. Like, yeah, that's my tie with
Yeah.
the disappointment room.
Yeah. No, I think it connects. It definitely connects.
According to my grandma, he was super sweet. He wasn't one of like somebody you had to worry about. It's just the fact that he was disabled to the point where he had to be taken care of, and his parents just didn't want the
Oh.
responsibility of doing that his whole life.
Oh man, that's sad.
Like he couldn't be self-sufficient. Yeah.
That is sad.
So they just sent him
Yeah.
away. And they didn't, I don't know if they visited him. I don't know any of those details per se, but like back in the day, like I said, that shit was worse than jail. Especially if you went in, say you went in partially stable, and you would get fucked up even more being in that environment and treated in such
Yeah.
like animalistic ways.
We were watching, oh, actually, so this is really relevant, and this will help us kind of pinpoint maybe how your uncle was treated, or your great uncle was treated. I was rewatching with Brad. He was watching for the first time. It started on Hulu, but they moved it to Netflix because it's been like 10 years. But it's that show with James Franco where he travels back in time to try to prevent the assassination of JFK, basically. Have you ever heard
I've
of
heard of
that?
it, I haven't seen it.
The title is the date
I've heard of it,
that
just never
JFK.
actually got to watch it.
It's really good. It's really good. So we were watching that, and that takes place in obviously the 60s. And the main character puts his fake brother into an institution, and by the time he gets out, he's so messed up because nothing was wrong with him. Long story short, he put him in there to keep him quiet from talking about how he was a time traveler because this guy, like, I don't want to ruin it for listeners. Skip. Sorry, I just did spoiled something, but nothing terrible, so I won't finish this topic. But it shows you the results of being institutionalized in the 60s when nothing's wrong with you. So
Yep.
I don't I don't know if like this if people with disabilities went to the same place that people with mental disabilities went versus physical, but I feel like they probably just put them in the same box, in the
Yeah,
same
I feel like they
disappointment
just lumped
room.
them together because back in the day they didn't have a way to separate it. They didn't take the time to do the research like they have now.
Yeah.
Also,
So,
side note, since you brought up JFK real quick, I
yeah.
actually slept in the suite, like one suite down from the last hotel suite he was in when he was alive.
What?
And then I also, yeah, yeah, we got the hotel room and we could have gotten the JFK suite, but we got the one next to it. So
That's
we
still
were right
awesome.
there. And then we went to where he was assassinated and actually like stood on because they have an X on the ground, so we actually like stood where the X was and everything.
That's
It's in the middle of
insane.
the road, but
Is the building still there? The tower? The factory thing?
the yeah the building where the shooter was at,
Yeah.
yeah, that's still there, and you can pay to take like a tour or go up to the top where the shooter was and like walk around. We didn't have time to do that because we were there for a wedding, but we did get to do those two things. So just side
Humans
tangent on
are
the JFK thing.
Yeah, humans are so fucking weird. Like, I want to go on that tour, but why the f do I want to go on that tour? You know, like, why the fuck? But I
Yep.
want to. But
Well,
I
it's
want
that
to.
morbid curiosity. We all have it.
Yeah,
We're all drawn to it, you know?
yeah,
Tragedy bonds us all.
yeah. It makes me appreciate how good my life is and like what I have and how lucky I am to have it.
Yep.
And, you know, I would never, ever put my creation, my child, or anybody else's child, or a child in general, in harm's way at all. I would not lock them in a room, and I would never be ashamed of them. I think we really, we really, as a human race, need to provide more protection to children and families and single moms, but children, like we have to do better. And the reason why you can't find a lot of information about disappointment rooms online is because they're not talked about because people redo their houses and maybe just don't think about it and just cover them up and they move on. And the stories that happen and are maintained or contained in those rooms are lost forever. And the children who were discarded and never talked about, like Ruth and your uncle, just
Mm-hmm.
discarded. It's sad, it's terrible. And all these children in these files that are just discarded, these terrible things that happen.
Yeah.
We don't talk about them enough, and it shouldn't be polarizing. It doesn't matter who you voted for. It doesn't even matter who you like. It doesn't.
The only way you can learn to do different is to know the history of what you've made, mistakes made by you and past yourselves. Like that's the
Yeah,
only way you're going to make a difference. You can't go about life ignoring it and not acknowledging it. You have to acknowledge it to grow from it and to do better.
exactly. Yep. So these things are worth talking about. They're worth fixing, and we should all be advocates for the children in our lives and be protectors of the children in our lives. And um, I wish there was more that we could do, but at the very least, we are trying to spread awareness, and I am also very
Yeah.
curious. I'm curious about the history of this house and what may or may not have happened here. So I want to keep doing research because if it is a disappointment room and there was children or a child, if somebody kept up there, maybe it doesn't, who knows? I just want to know because I believe that your
Yeah.
energy does something. We imprint somehow, like we've talked about.
Yeah.
We're spooky
And
witches. We believe in something. So,
I mean, say if it is a disappointment room and you're able to figure out and narrow down which child or which family it was, like you can finally give that energy the acknowledgement and the respect that and the care that they deserve their whole like, actual life.
Yeah.
And
Something
honestly, I
else too.
think going to like the
Oh, go ahead.
local library too, real quick, going to like the archives, like building archives, you might be able to find something on your house that goes a little bit more in depth on
Yeah.
like ownerships and stuff.
Yeah. I really need to. And we go to the library all the time. So I'll probably take Vaughn to the library during my break. Oh, shoot. I said his name. Okay. Well, I'll just cut that part out. I'll probably go to the library when I'm off work and check it out. So there will definitely be a follow-up. But something else I forgot to mention, there is a doorbell apparatus in the attic too, like a bell system.
Huh.
Yeah. Like it's really weird. Like the more I started looking around, I'm like, if you're up in the attic and you can't, if you're up in the attic and you can't get down, but you can press
Yeah.
this button to ring a bell to get people, like that's what it seemed like. Like it seems like a bell. I don't know. I'll post pictures of that too. And
I mean, not
I
gonna
don't have any
lie, dude, when I
pictures.
first came and saw your house when you first bought it and we walked in, you gave me a tour and everything, the attic was the weirdest energy of the house.
It's so weird up there. So weird
Like,
up there.
it was the one room I walked into that it didn't necessarily make me feel comfortable, but like it just felt heavy.
Yeah, because I was gonna make my space up there until Lou moved in, but
Yeah,
then
you're
when he
gonna do
moved
your art
out,
room and stuff.
yeah, but I don't think I will. I think I'll keep it. I don't really know. Maybe I will, but I'll have to ask Lou if he ever had any feelings of heaviness up there, because I don't remember if he did.
Well, I mean, you know how you
But
talked about like the mimic and stuff when it came to like him sounding like Lou, and like what if that was a child? What if because he was living in the attic, like I'm not copying you, you're copying me type dude. Like, what if that was a child spirit that you were feeling that was trying to mimic what he was living with up in the attic? Just a thought.
yeah, oh my God. I definitely just got full body chills when you said that. You know, like the type of chills that like start here and like go around down? Just got that. That's so weird. That's really weird. Um, yeah, I think it's worth knowing our history and it's worth talking about it and respecting potential victims. But if my search yields nothing, then I think that's also a blessing. And that means that
Oh yeah,
nobody
100%,
was kept up
100%.
there in shame. But stay tuned. So I will be doing some
I mean,
digging.
who
But
who knows? Maybe it was like a little elevator back in the day, like one of those like laundry elevator things, but like maybe there was somebody that lived up there and it was like that was a way to get food to them or things. Who knows?
oh my
I
God,
don't
that'd
know.
be
I'm
kind
just
of
coming up with
cute.
some other idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna do more digging, but this was just kind of like oh, hey, holy crap, let's talk about this. I found some cool stuff. So, yeah.
Oh
And
hell
your
yeah.
story
No,
about
it
your
definitely was very
uncle,
interesting and
like,
something I didn't know.
yeah, thanks. The story about
Well,
your
I
uncle, I'm
didn't think
glad that you
about that
shared
again
that.
till now. Yeah, I didn't think about that till now, and it's been forever. But like Shirley's told me that story a couple times. That it was just one of those like, oh shit, okay, and then never really
Wow.
got talked about because no one ever really knew him.
Wow. I hope his soul is at peace. I wish we knew his name.
I
Could you
mean,
ask
I
your
really need to
dad?
fucking take that ancestry test because who knows, maybe he'll pop up. I can ask him. My dad might
Yeah.
know, but my dad's memory's shitty.
Ask him, see if he knows, because then, so I feel like saying the names of people draws them closer
Oh
too.
yeah.
Like,
Well, I feel like there's a picture of him somewhere that my dad has all of Shirley's pictures, so
yeah. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
the only final thought I can say is let's see. Take care of your responsibilities. As Tommy Pickles always said, I don't want these responsibilities. Well, if you are the creator of something, you must follow through with it. And at the same time, protect the innocence of the young generation as long as you can. Because I know I myself wish that I would have had my innocence protected longer and would have been able to be a kid longer than what I was able to be. And it's not fair to take that is something that they will only get once in their life and that they can never get back once it's broken.
Hmm.
So don't break it.
Yeah. Yeah. Protect our kids, protect the youth. So, and thanks for listening, fam.
Yeah, for real. Sorry if it was some heavy topics, but somebody gotta talk about them, so why not us?
Yep. Next episode, or actually, I don't know if this is gonna come out before or after, but you know, never stop asking yourselves,
Who
who
are
are you?
you? Who are you?
Who are who are you?
Who art thou? Thou
Who
is
are you?
me.